Welcome to your Mima's world. Welcome to your Mima's world. Welcome to your Mima's world. Stories we will tell. Stories from around the world. Stories from every boy and girl. Welcome to your Mima's world. Welcome to your Mima's world. Welcome to your Mima's world. Stories we will tell. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Yemima's World, the Jelly Moosa's Cafe. I am your hostess, Yemima, your Jelly Moosa in resident, and this is going to be dinner time, story time tonight, and it is called Drumming for Ogun, written by Mickey Khan and illustrated by Zuri Books Prose. And this is from the Orisha series, so there are other books that I will probably end up reading. But tonight, this is what we have. All right. Dedication. This book is dedicated to the Orisha Ogun, the spirit of iron in the West African religious tradition called Ifa, Santeria, or Lukumi. Ogun is the powerful, fierce warrior who defends his people, fights against injustices, and has the intelligence and creativity to invent the tools, weapons, and technology that we need in life. It is also dedicated to children growing up in this religion and their parents, as well as children and others who are curious about a religion brought from Africa to America, Cuba, and the Caribbean through slavery and has spread throughout the world. Your destiny awaits you. All right, this is the Oriki, the prayer to Elegua. Elegua, owner of doors and opportunity, king of the crossroads, you who we acknowledge at the beginning for an auspicious start, I give you honor and respect. I humbly ask that you bless me and my loved ones by opening the doors that will lead us to positive paths, the doors that lead to the good. Elegua, enlighten me, protect me, and guide me to opportunities to strengthen my skills and see the possibilities for positive growth that lie ahead. Bless my creative projects so I may share beauty and understanding with all who seek it. All right, introduction. In West Africa, the Yoruba people believed in a religion called Ifa that began long before anyone remembers. This religion traveled to the Americas and the Caribbean, all the places where kidnapped Africans were forced into slavery. The enslaved Africans could not bring anything with them, but they carried their beliefs and practices in their hearts and minds. Today, many people all over the world follow Ifa. This is the second story in a series of books for children about the Orishas. Kalem is a little boy who discovers he has a connection with the Orisha Ogun, one of the gods of this religion. Ogun is a fierce warrior, a hunter, and a blacksmith. He helps and protects his people when they call on him. The author wrote the book to help children understand Ifa, our relationship with the Orishas, especially Ogun, and what it's like to go to a drumming. Drumming for Ogun. Kalim lived on the third floor of an apartment building in the city, but he was happiest when his Uncle George took him to the park. They would hide in the bushes and jump out at each other, climb the hills until you couldn't see the city at all, and pretend they were hunters. But today, Kalim was sick. Mom had to go to work and set out everything he would need. Don't leave this apartment, she told him, and don't answer the door for anyone. You have everything you need right here. Kalim sighed, rolled over, pulling the covers over his head, and went back to sleep. He dreamed about a dog that became his friend, kept him company, and hunted in the park with him. When he woke up, he knew he needed a dog. When Mom came home, he told her his dream. He really needed a dog, especially when he had to stay home alone. A dog would be company. While they talked, Kalim's fingers were twisting wires together. What are you making? His mom asked. He showed her little wire toys that he had made. I didn't know you could do that, she explained. Yep, he said. Me and Uncle George pick up scraps in the woods, and I bring them home and make stuff. I have a box under my bed where I keep them. Huh, said his mom. So what about a dog? He reminded her. Well, let me talk to your father. They both said at the same time and laughed. That's what Mom always said. That night, he heard Mom talking with Dad on the phone. They were talking about the dog and the things Colleen made out of scraps and metal wire. He heard his mom say, like Ogun. Ogun? He'd heard that word before, but he couldn't remember what it meant. He grabbed his tablet and Googled Ogun. He read, the Yoruba people of West Africa and believers all over the world have many gods and goddesses whose work it is to help human beings while they are on earth. They are called Orishas. One of the bravest, most creative, and interesting of the gods is Ogun. When he read Ogun, he got shivers all over. He continued to read. Ogun cleared a path for the other Orishas to enter Earth using a metal axe with the assistance of a dog. Ogun was one of the earliest gods. He loved hunting, and his personality is seen as dog-like, aggressive, able to face danger, and straightforward. He preferred living in the woods at the top of a hill where he could go hunting. Wow, thought Colleen. That's kind of like me and Uncle George. The next time Colleen saw Uncle George, he asked him if he knew anything about Ogun. Uncle George looked at him surprised. When did you hear about Ogun? Kaleem explained how he overheard Mom and Dad talking on the phone. She said Ogun, and he had Googled the word. I think I'm a little like Ogun. You too, Uncle George. We both prefer the woods. We like to pretend we're hunters. I like dogs, and I might be getting one. My teacher says I'm creative. Yes, Uncle George interrupted. You like to make things of metal. Did you know Ogun was also a blacksmith? What's a blacksmith? Asked Kling. A blacksmith is a person who makes or repairs things out of metal. I'll show you where blacksmiths work. I'll go there to make I go there to make things out of iron. Ogun is a warrior and a hunter, and he is a blacksmith. We should thank Ogun whenever we use tools of iron or steel made by a blacksmith, but also a spoon for eating ice cream, driving a truck like your dad does, or using your computer. Colleen was excited looking around the blacksmith shop. He was itching to get his fingers on everything he saw. Slow down, said Uncle George. You can come to the blacksmith shop with me on Saturday mornings and we'll learn to make things. Uncle George explained that he is a priest of Ogun in the African religion called Ifa or Lukumi. To become a priest, you must find out which Orisha has chosen you. We believe each person has an Orisha that affects how they think and what they do. If it is your destiny to become a priest, you go through a process called initiation. Uncle George explained that he was initiated 4 years ago. He has a whole lot more to learn because learning continues through your whole life. Well, what does a priest do? Asked Kalim. A priest or priestess learns as much as they can about the Orishas, their ancestors, and how to help others who also want to learn or who have problems that they need help with. The next time Kalim and Uncle George went to the park to play, they found an area that they hadn't explored before. A trail led to a high hill, and you could see the whole park spread out below. On one side of the hill, there was a steep drop and loose stones. Be careful, Uncle George said. The minute he said that, his foot slipped and he tumbled down the hill. There were no branches to grab, and he kept on falling and falling until he hit the bottom. Uncle George! Uncle George! Yelled Kalim, but Uncle George didn't answer. Kalim was afraid. Should he go back and look for help, or should he go down and see how Uncle George was? Kalim looked at each side of the hill and saw that one side had some bushes and trees, branches and roots that he could hold on to carefully. Slowly, he made his way to the bottom of the hill and then over to where Uncle George was lying. He gently shook Uncle George, saying, "Wake up! Wake up!" Uncle George blinked and looked around. "Are you okay?" Khalil asked. "I'm alive, but I think I may have broken my ankle," said Uncle George. He tried to stand on it, and he couldn't. He tried to turn it up and down, and it only got worse. "Man," said Uncle George, "we are in a pickle. How are we going to get home? I sure can't climb back up that hill." "I'll get help," said Khalil. "Well, do you know where we are?" asked Uncle George. "It's getting late. Pretty soon we won't be able to see our way around." Khalil realized they were among weeds and grasses that were taller than he was. He wasn't sure which way to go. "I wish I had a machete like Ogun," he said. Uncle George had a pocket knife with him. "Here," he said, "and be very careful with this knife. It's sharp. Think you should head to the left and look for land that slopes upwards. That should bring you to the fountain where there will be people who can help." Khalil took off, clearing a trail through the tall grass as he went. As he did, he thought to himself, "Here I am, like Ogun, clearing the way." Ogun used a machete, but this knife is a tool of Ogun. In his mind, he talked to Ogun. "Ogun, I need help. I need to clear the way quickly so we can rescue Uncle George. Give me the strength of the warrior and keep this knife sharp enough to do the job. Help me find the way to the fountain." In a short time, Khalil could see the fountain. He found two teenagers on roller skates. "Please help me," he said to them. "My uncle broke his ankle at the bottom of the hill and he can't walk." The teenagers called 911 for help. The ambulance came and Khalil led the emergency staff to where Uncle George lay. They put him on a stretcher and carried him back to the ambulance. "Who made that wonderful trail through the deep grass?" asked one of the ambulance workers. "It would have been much harder without that trail." Khalil felt proud. "I did," he said, "with Uncle George's pocket knife." A few weeks later, Uncle George called Khalil to the phone and invited him to a drumming. People go to a drumming or a tambor to speak to the Orishas who come to share knowledge and advice. "I've got a brace on my broken ankle, so I can get around now. I'll pick you up on Saturday around 3 o'clock." On Saturday, Uncle George came over, all dressed in white, with a package of white clothes for Khalil. "We're twins," said Khalil. When he finished dressing, "Why do we have to wear white?" he asked. "We often wear white for events like a drumming," Uncle George answered. "The white represents purity and peace of mind. Negative thoughts will bounce off the white cloth." Khalil could hear the sound of drums from the street. Lots of people were already there. Three men were playing unusual looking drums. People were singing and lots of people were dancing. Uncle George explained that these three drums are called the sacred bata drums. Each drum has two heads. They come in three sizes. The biggest is called the mother, the middle size is called the junior, and the smallest is called okon kolo. The drums are played in a special way that the Orishas understand. They talk to the Orishas and call them to come to the gathering and to speak to the people. Suddenly there was a commotion at the end of the room, and a man leaped into the center of the crowd. He was wearing a skirt of palm fronds or straw and held a machete in his hand. He looked fierce, but people were excited to see him. "That's Ogun," Uncle George whispered. "I'm going to salute him. You stay here and watch until I come back." But to everyone's surprise, before Uncle George could reach him, Ogun pushed through the crowd and stopped in front of Khalil. He looked at Khalil for a moment, patted him on the head, and said, "You are a good boy. Take care of your dog and keep on making beautiful things. I'm proud of how you helped your uncle. One day you will know me." And with that, he disappeared in the crowd. Uncle George winked at Khalil as they were leaving. "You are a special boy. Wait till we tell your parents what happened." "But I don't have a dog," whispered Khalil to Uncle George. It sounds like you will soon. Oh, this was so beautiful. I love it. I love it. And in the back of this book, it has like a quiz or questions that you can go over with your kids. I'll read them so you can listen to this and the kids can answer the questions. Okay. So the five questions that they have is, who is Ogun? That's number one. The second one is, name three things that he is known for. The third one is, where does he prefer to live? The fourth one is, what does he wear? And the fifth one is, where is a place you can go to talk to an Orisha? All right. And it has the answers. And so I'll read the answers. And when you're reading this, or if you're letting your kids listen to it, you can stop it after each question and then you can pick up the answers. Okay. So the answer is, um, who is Ogun? Ogun is one of the bravest, most creative, and interesting of the Orishas. Name three things he is known for. He is a hunter, a warrior, and a blacksmith. Where does he prefer to live? He prefers the woods and the top of a hill. What does he wear? A skirt made of straw. And where is a place you can go to talk to the Orishas? You can talk to an Orisha at a drumming. All right, this was really good. I'm going to get, I think there's one um, about Oshun. And so I don't have that one yet, but when I get it, I will certainly read it. I hope you enjoyed dinner time, story time tonight. I've been really, really busy. I haven't been able to get in for lunchtime. But yes, and if you enjoy, please, please support the channel. Please like and share the videos and support the work that I'm doing. A small donation goes a long way for me to be able to continue to purchase books and also to take the time to read them online and expose your kids to some things that they will not get in school. All right, until next time, you know the drill. Love yourself, love each other, give yourself some grace, give each other some grace. Stay healthy, stay safe, and until next time, stay black. Peace, family.